I guess the number one question is really how do I, as a new producer, how do I get my music out there, or how do I get my first placement, or, what could I do to just kind of stand out? And they're kind of like all in the same realm of, I guess, answer. Even like what I try to tell people these days is that there's, you know, back in like, the early 2000s, the late 90s, like a lot of producers didn't have the platforms like this, didn't have the Facebooks, the social media, the Instagrams, the Twitters, all that kind of stuff. So, there's a better balance now of being able to go out to events and network, as well as having a nice following or be able to network online. But what I usually tell people is you have to be prepared. Whatever it is, no matter what it is, no matter what you want to do, place a record, get out there, network. The first thing you have to do is you got to be prepared. And that means you have to make sure your music is A1. Like there's a lot of people out there chasing a sound, they want to be there. Like they think like what's on the radio now is like what people really want, when in reality that music was placed about 2 years ago and now it's finally coming out. So now you guys got to think like 2018, 19, 20. You got to think about, okay, what does Rihanna want in 2020? What does, Bryson Tiller want in 2020? So, but, you have to be prepared. So what I mean by that is make sure your business is right, make sure your music is right, make sure your quality is right in terms of your mixes, and make sure you're really like not really chasing a sound, because we all know there's opportunities out there, right? So if you're prepared and there's opportunities out there, the one thing you can't control is the timing of it. So once you get in the door, if you're not prepared, you may lose out on an opportunity, and you may never, ever get that opportunity again. So as you're doing that, building relationships is so important, because it's not really always about the music. You can have a great conversation and talk to people about life, and they just think you're cool to hang out with. And then the next thing you know, you're making music together, or they're listening to your music, or they're sharing some relationships with you, whatever the case may be. But one of the biggest problems is a lot of times producers will walk up to a bigger name producer or an A&R, and the first thing they want to talk about is themselves. Hey, what's up? I'm such and such. You're the dopest producer out in Tennessee or Nashville. But if I call my homie in Nashville who runs the scene out there and say, hey, my man Zane said he was the hottest producer out in Nashville, and he's like, I don't know this guy Zane, then you're probably not the hottest producer in Nashville. So, you just have to be prepared all the way around the board, from how you approach people to making sure your music's ready, to how you present your music, to how you carry yourself, how you communicate. If you could do all that, the rest will just kind of fall into place, I feel. Doing 99-cent leases this week. Like, at the end of the day, like, what's that really doing for your brand? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's Johnny Giulianos out there. There's these guys that have a great following, and they make a ton of money doing it. But at the end of the day, I think when you go, all right, so for instance, if you're promoting the fact you got beats 5 for $20, and then all of a sudden, like a designer jumps on a beat, right? Somehow, some way. What are you going to ask? You're going to ask the label for $1,500 or $2,000 or $2,500 when you were giving these beats away for 99 cents? Like, I just feel it's like you're flooding the market with products, and then you're retracting, the actual value from what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on the fence about it, because I get it, but I would rather see you give somebody a beat for free and then be attached to it in a bigger way. If you like an artist, like, there's the Dave Easts out there, there's the Casanovas out there, these guys that are, on tours and making a lot of plays and making some money on the road. They might give you a little bag for a beat, 500, 1,000, but they're also going to attach your beat to the video. Every time they do an interview, they're going to talk about you. And these are like the commercials to your blockbuster movie someday, because eventually Dave East will play it, Nas will hear it, Nas will be, oh, who did that record? Oh, that was this kid from, A-Ray from Atlanta, whatever. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, Nas is looking you up online, he's hitting you directly, and you're like, holy shit, how'd that happen? So understand the value is greater when you make yourself look greater. You know what I'm saying? So I would just focus on finding great artists to represent you, saying, hey, bro, I'll give you like 3 beats, but I need you to do this for me. I need to be in the video. I need to have my name attached to all the blog stuff. Every time you talk about the song in the interview, I need to be mentioned. And I'll tell you what, if you can give me like 2 hooks for my beats, so that way we can shop it and both get some money, let's do that. Let's figure it out. Be a business about it. Don't just be a hot dog salesman on the corner, selling beats for $1 a hot dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it a business. Treat yourself like a business. I don't know, Kato, I don't know if you ever heard me say this, but like there's a soda aisle, right? So what's big in Atlanta? There's like the Publix, right? There's like the big, I guess, chain store.
Right.
So, there's like Coke on one side, right? And you got Pepsi on the other side, right? So these guys spend millions of dollars all year long trying to like get their soda and, product on the end caps. That's the most popular part of the store. But then you got all the sodas on that soda, right? You got Fanta, you got Tab, you got Bodega Cola, whatever. So what's going to make you want to drink one of those colas? Maybe Kato says to me, yo, Hatch, you should really try this. Knowing that I know Kato's taste, he's like, yo, Hatch, try this soda. It's pretty dope. Or maybe it's the packaging. Or maybe one day I just wake up and I'm like, I'm just going to try this out. That's what producers are. Y'all are the soda aisle. Yeah. So it's like, okay, either somebody's going to co-sign you, either you're going to stand out by what you do on social media or how you move out there, or someday somebody's just going to give you a shot. So as any of those things can happen, but what are you doing to make yourself stand out in today's market and not just be, something that's on the shelf all the time? Because, the Coke and the Pepsis are like the Pharrells, the Timberlands, the Metros, the hot guys now, the Mustards. So you guys are like on the come up. Eventually, hopefully, your brand will be somewhere on those end caps or a more popular situation. You know what I mean? I guess I'll just leave you with this, man. Like, the most important thing about your day-to-day operation and how you look at your own project is to understand that the person that can hold you back is yourself. Like, you can get anything you want, in this game if you just put your mind to it. I always say that if the people around you aren't laughing loud enough, you're not thinking big enough. So, just continue to push the envelope, whether it's sonically or creatively, but just always understand that there's a place for you somewhere in this music thing, but you just have to figure it out.